David Goggins says, "The first thing I do every morning is run, not because I love it, but because I hate it." Today, we're going to explore a new perspective, one that's actually backed by science, a mindset that Goggins discovered in his early 20s when he was an unmotivated 300-pound teenager, a mom who had checked out of life, a father who used to beat him, and a head full of questions that sound a lot like the ones we ask ourselves today. Where do I even start to change my life? How do I keep my motivation and purpose from fading away? If you keep failing to quit porn, or you can't even put your damn phone down for 15 minutes to focus on something, don't blame yourself. Just stay with me for 9 minutes, because I'm about to show you something that's gonna blow your mind. See, the problem isn't that we're lazy, unmotivated, or weak. We just need to rewire certain parts of the brain. So what are those changes? Let's go to one of the leading neuroscientists, Dr. Andrew Huberman. In a podcast with Goggins, he explained something incredible. There's a part of the brain called the anterior mid-cingulate cortex. The name doesn't matter much. What matters is this. Recent neuroscience research shows that when people do things they don't want to do, like exercising, learning a new language, or resisting something they do want, like skipping their favorite meal while on a diet, this part of the brain actually grows. Then they studied it further. They found this region is smaller in obese people, but larger in those who lost weight, larger in athletes, larger in people who speak multiple languages, and especially large in people who challenge themselves and overcome it. In short, the more effort you make to push through discomfort, the more this part of your brain develops. And notice, Dr. Huberman didn't talk about doing the things you love. He talked about the ones you don't. That's how we can now define willpower, your ability to tolerate and push through things you don't want to do. If you love running and run 15 kilometers, or love lifting weights and go to the gym daily, that brain region won't grow much. It grows when you sit through a finance class you can barely stand for 5 minutes. That's why Goggins said, "I hate running. That's why I do it first thing every day." So yeah, doing the things you don't enjoy actually builds willpower biologically. And that's why iron willpower isn't just a metaphor, it's science. Of course, Goggins has an extreme streak. It's part of his personality and his business. But we can't deny one thing, he redefined what willpower means. So how do we actually apply this idea to our lives? Here's a simple example. Next time you feel the urge to watch adult content, don't try to quit cold turkey. Just delay it for 10 minutes. Or if there's something you hate doing, do it for just 5 minutes. Give your brain permission to build willpower gradually. Delay what you don't want to do and increase what you do want to do, little by little. What we just talked about is the first principle Goggins uses to build a powerful mindset. Now let's move to number 2. 2. Where should I start changing? Let's look at this simple graph. It shows how most people climb towards success, reach the top, and then stop improving because they think they've made it. But according to Goggins, you don't stop there. You start falling. If you want to stay on top, you must keep pushing. That's why elite athletes, even as they age, keep training relentlessly. They know that stopping means falling. Goggins' approach can be customized for everyone. Some people are driven by fear of failure, others by passion or desire. The healthiest balance? A mix of both. Sometimes fear pushes you forward, other times it's your hunger to win. But Goggins insists, never stop. You can slow down, but never stop. In one podcast, someone told him, "You have an insanely strong mind." He laughed and said, "It took me 30 years to build this mind." He used to be so mentally broken that it took him a year to understand a single textbook page. He went through pain and torture, but he made it, and he admits, if he stopped today, that mental strength would fade. Humans are built to stay in their comfort zones, to build a little circle of safety, and once you settle in, getting out of it becomes painfully hard. As someone who's been trying to start a new content project for 8 months, I can completely relate. When you build a comfort zone, leaving it feels almost impossible. 3. The inner dialogue. Goggins believes your inner conversation determines how far you go. It teaches you to suffer for the right reasons, instead of chasing the wrong pleasures. Most of life's battles are fought here, inside your own head. And your wins or losses in that space decide how long you'll keep going. People who fear being alone struggle the most here because they can't talk to themselves. They can't face their own mind. Their motivation is external, and the problem with external fuel is it can change any second. True drive comes from the inside. Goggins says being brutally honest with yourself is what clarifies what you really want. It's not about self-destruction, it's about self-awareness. That's where his famous method, the cookie jar, comes in. It's a way to balance honesty and self-recognition. You face your flaws but also acknowledge your wins. Because we humans are biased, we often dismiss our own progress and say things like, "I'm useless, I've done nothing." This method stops that bias and helps build long-term resilience. Like Coach Joe Henderson once said, "You don't beat your competitors with speed. You beat them by lasting longer." 4. The 40% rule. This is what explains why Goggins could push beyond human limits. He believes that when you think you've reached your physical or mental limit, you've actually only used about 40% of your potential. That number isn't exact, but even modern psychology agrees with the concept. There was a study where 2 groups were tested. One got caffeine, the other got a placebo, a fake caffeine pill. The group that thought they had caffeine actually performed better, just because their mind believed it. That's the power of the brain's self-imposed limits. Your mind tries to protect you from pain, but in doing so, it caps your growth. So when you feel like you've reached your limit, that's not your limit. That's just your brain hitting the mental ceiling it built for you. And when you break that ceiling, you break out of your comfort zone and into your real potential. Sometimes everything starts with one small decision. That moment when instead of giving up, you take one more step. That tiny step can change everything. It can shift your entire direction, your energy, your belief in yourself. The mind is powerful, but it listens to your actions more than your words. When you show up, even tired, even uncertain, you remind yourself that progress is still possible. Because within every failure lies a seed of strength. This wasn't just a video, it was a spark. Now it's your turn to keep it burning. Do something today that your future self will thank you for. And hey, subscribe, because the next video might just be the one you've been waiting for all along.